Good evening, mortals. Hello, everyone. How's it going? We're here playing some Exalted, so you get Big Jorb today. Lord Jorb. Lorb? George? No, Lorb.
Warp Jorb.
I'm sorry, Nick. If you must know, I was slurping.
Lobster Jorb.
Yep.
Lorb.
He was slurping so much.
I was slurping
He was
so
sucking.
hard. People told me, yeah, keep slurping, so we went live because I was scared. Hello, Lavada, Blackthorn, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, everyone?
It
What?
goes.
Kicking, ready to do some research.
I
That's-
have a quick question, actually, that chat should probably keep in mind.
Okay,
So, just because I can take a look at it right now. So, Fate Weaving.
yes.
Introduce a minor character, item, or event to aid the characters.
Oh, right, I forgot to update that. Sorry, one sec.
Mm,
Sorry, one moment. I'll fix that.
so, it was
thank you
brought up
for-
to me like
Thank you
a
for
couple
reminding
streams ago
me.
and I forgot.
Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, no, that shouldn't say aid. 1 second here.
Wait, but you don't want to aid us?
They could if they wanted. Okay, there you go, Aki. It more accurately reflects what it is now.
More accurate.
More accurate.
Accurately.
Accurately. Oh my god, saying accurately. How do you say actually but with Aki's name? Accurately?
Accurately.
Accurately.
Hey, Jordan.
I
just
hate
made
this.
wife regret calling me gay. What's
Hey,
up?
hey, Jordan.
Uh-huh.
If you don't start the stream, you're gonna get some acupuncture. But
Well,
you're not gonna like it. It's gonna be with javelins.
I think one of my favorite insults that you do is next time I see you, javelin. Because it's just something I can 100% see you doing, Aki.
Yeah, I
Like-
just step out of the elevator at work and just thump.
Like, I could just see you walking in being like, oh, hey, Aki. Oh, God. Thunk. And, like, I get knocked out of my fucking chair and pinned to a wall.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then I grab my chair from work. I sit down at your station and I work.
no, you push 15 chairs around me so I can't escape in the case of a fire. I'm not still mad about that, by the way.
Just wanted you to be flaming.
Well, I am unfortunately straight, so.
Yeah, token straight.
Your group has to have one, otherwise it's hard to get votes.
Yeah, someone's gonna be the default settings.
Exactly.
You need to diversify.
Okay.
Yeah,
Before-
Jordan got to character customization and then just accidentally hit next.
No. Hear me out. So, something I've realized in my old age, at the tender age of, I recently learned 32, not 31, I've learned that I always use the default in character creators like 99% of the time. Almost always. Which means
Wow.
it is incredibly possible that the guy who made Jorb was like, I don't fucking care.
Make him bald. Good. Next.
No, he wasn't bald at character creation. He's like, okay, random stats, he's gonna be bald,
Oh,
but he's
see-
got a dick like a
see what-
tree trunk? Fine.
So you had hair as a baby.
No, actually.
So then you were bald at character creation.
Yeah,
Keep
but then I,
up.
like, got hair right away. And
Sure you did.
I've never seen proof of this.
Hair
I
and
have
quotes.
photos of me with hair, so fuck y'all.
I mean, technically, one hair is a hair.
If we're going by that metric, I still have a full head of hair.
Or like a full chin of hair.
I also have a full chin of hair, yes. Yes, both actually.
Yeah, it's because it migrated.
What I did is I just, like, one day I was like, you know what, I want to look like I want to look like the kind of guy that you would see at a Nazi rally and be like, yeah, that checks out. So I just like smacked myself in the top of the head really hard, which had two effects. One, all the hair was like shunted through and it came out the bottom. And the other thing is that when I did that, it flattened my brain into a circle, which I didn't intend to do. But since I can apparently do most of the things most humans can do with a 2D circle brain, no complaints.
Jordan, I'm so proud of you. Apparently is a 4-syllable word.
Do you want to hear the most impressive thing? A 2D circle brain man beat motherfucking Elden Ring, which was not easy.
That
So
last boss is a bitch.
holy fuck, that was hard. I was out of my hands went numb live on stream. Oh god.
Anyways, this game.
Nick, thank you. Nick is my favorite tonight. We are playing Exalted tonight, and I'm very much looking forward to it. I put the sun out just for the occasion. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So, we have a couple things going on, right? We have some of the party going to investigate their missing friend who is not missing and also isn't their friend, never was, and ask no further questions. Who do we have on that job?
Yo, right here.
Scald? Anyone else going with Scald, or is Scald doing it alone?
Do you mean going with to investigate Samuel and the murder of the guy's dad?
Correct.
I was under the impression it was also Ben and Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Ben and Joe?
It is. Yes.
Okay,
And Joe?
I do like Ben and Joe. Oh, real quick, everyone's left the chat, right? Except for Akimod, obviously.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well-
It's tabbed up and the tabs are not active.
Okay, as long as you're not in it. The pattern spiders are asking if they can fade weave, so I just wanted to make sure.
That was
Ow.
quick.
Yeah, well,
fade
you know,
weaving
now
for
that
you.
I've altered how it's phrased, anyway. Okay, so... And then the other thing, Santa Monica. So, apparently, Sally's commander was last seen in Santa Monica. Who's going there?
That was Mercy and I.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's take a little vote. Who wants to do which scene first? Because we are going to have to split the party for this. Obviously, you guys can't be in two places at once. I will try and switch back and forth a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe it'd be better to just fully complete a scene.
Yep.
I'm not sure. But which one would you prefer to do?
Santa Monica, please.
I'll go with that.
Oh, Lavana, I'm rejecting
Yeah,
your fate
do
weave
Santa
for the best
Monica.
reason.
And then we'll
Hang on a sec.
investigate that other stuff.
Santa Monica first? Okay. Aki, just so you know, the fate weave was rejected.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not happening. The main character is already that, Lavana. Okay, so Santa Monica. So you get on a plane the next day and head down to the States. You find that customs is extremely easy to go through because there is actually a note that you guys are allowed to freely travel within the U.S. without the usual customs rigmarole.
Okay. Sure.
And you get through quite quickly. So you end up on the other side, and immediately you're bombarded by people offering you to get in their cab to drive wherever you need to go. You're, of course, at LAX. Lavana, let me explain.
Maybe we'll just rent a car. Yeah. Let's see about renting a car. Is there a rental place nearby?
Yep, of course. It's an airport, so there's a couple, actually. Also, you are very quiet all of a sudden, my friend.
It's likely just the level I was speaking at, sorry.
Okay, yeah, that immediately fixed it, so... Okay. So, yes, you do find a rental car place, and aside from having to pay with Canadian money, they are pretty able to handle it, and you rent a car. Where are you headed?
Let's head to that church that we got the address for. See if
Mhm.
there's any updates on that.
Okay, so you head there. It's quite a few hours to drive there because of LA traffic, and also you're going quite far from LAX. So by the time you arrive, it's late afternoon. But you do arrive to the address. It was hard to find at first because it is burned to the ground.
Is there anybody else around?
Yeah, actually, like a few dozen people are around. Most of them are like taking pictures and talking about it. There's a local news personality who is like doing a piece on it, but it doesn't look like it's high impact or anything. It's not in the moment, like it's a discussion piece. But there are several people who are just like staring at the rubble.
Are these the same people who have been visiting previously? Because you said that there was quite a gathering. Like, they kept showing up, and there were multiple groups of people showing up even during the night, you said previously?
Yeah, so they've just been like random people, and it seems to be the case here too. There's like an elderly man, there's what looks like a homeless guy, and there's a very professionally dressed looking man as well.
I'll approach him first, I think.
Okay, so you approach. Just before you go to approach him, he turns and looks at you. And when you walk up, he says to you in a German accent, "Hello."
Good afternoon. I was just wondering if you knew anything about what happened here. I'm new to town, just curious.
Oh no, I'm also not from here, but I came to investigate myself. What is your name? I can't do
Darius.
accents. Fuck off. Sorry, could you repeat that? I was yelling at the pattern spiders.
Darius.
Oh, okay, great. And I am Lieutenant Gerbner.
Were we given a name by...
No, fuck no. For the commander? No.
Yeah.
Also, this guy doesn't seem military to you. He seems police.
I'm just curious as to how we're supposed to be able to identify and find someone that we don't know what they look like or what their name
That's a
is.
good question, ain't it? You probably should have asked that instead of asking a bunch of questions that Sally couldn't answer.
She should have told us if she wanted the job done.
She told you she wouldn't answer questions that she couldn't, and then she didn't, and you took the job. So I don't know.
Okay.
He says, call me Hans.
I nod. Thank you. I'm gonna...
He looks at you for a moment and says, what is your interest here? I know you. You're from the TV.
I haven't appeared on TV.
Then he was looking
Okay.
at Mercy when he said that.
Okay.
Was he?
Yes.
Parts.
You are the Zenith. You're world famous. What did you expect?
Yes, Jordan, but I am using a charm.
Oh, are you?
That's what I said. That's why I put it in chat.
Okay. He's still able to see you.
Bart.
The pattern spiders are calling me out for my accent. What is your interest here, young? Why have you come to this place?
Mercy looks at Darius.
We are just here to investigate what possibly happened with the church.
He
Some
says, he's sorry, that last statement was actually a joke, but going back to what he's talking about now, he says, yeah, me as well. As far as I can tell, this was an arson from inside. You see, there's no, the building collapsed inward. And he points. What seems to be the problem, Herr Doctor?
Are you trained on arson? Like, are you...
He shakes his head. Just common traits. The building collapse inward implies the fire started inside the building.
I see.
Still, though, You just came to investigate a church burning?
Yes. It was brought to our attention, so we figured we'd take a look into it. We were in the area anyways.
Ah, and who brought this to your attention?
Word on the street, easy enough to see, and a couple of people noticed us and brought it up.
Roll deceit.
Can he get past my 8 flat deceit?
No comment. Roll it.
How do I roll deceit? Socialize plus manipulate?
Yes. Yes.
Would things that boost guile be still usable for this?
Yeah.
Well, Guile... This is an attack, not a defense. Guile is a defense.
Ah, okay.
Because
Noted.
he's lying to his opponent, right? Like, this isn't something his opponent has asked for.
Usually Exalted resolves that by applying the person who's just been lied to usually applies a reflexive rule that their character isn't necessarily aware of to the guile.
Alright, fair
And then-
enough.
Yeah. Usually prompted by, hey, is he lying? Sort of thing. But for NPCs, storyteller says.
What's your guile, buddy? 8? Okay, he seems to take it as read. He says, oh, and you just are accustomed to... I thought you'd have bigger goals, but very well, any help is appreciated. Yes, I believe the fire started from inside the church, but I haven't been able to determine what the accelerant used was, or who the perpetrators were. You'll note there are no bones.
Yes, that's... There were articles and stuff written about this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was only one person dead in the fire, and his bones were recovered.
Uh,
Hello, Blair.
Supposedly, from what I've read in the articles before coming,
Think
they only found one person dead, and the bones were recovered.
He nods. Yes, the priest. He stayed in the parish, but he was not the only one there.
Is
talking
that
to a
also something
demon.
that was in the articles, or
No, it wasn't.
how do you know that?
Because the priest served for 25 years in this parish and just now decides to burn it to the ground. I find that unlikely. Maybe it was an accident, but maybe not.
And how are you planning on investigating it further?
Oh, I can't. This is outside my jurisdiction. But I will look and I will wait and see if anything comes up. And if not, I will go home and I will go about my life.
Out of curiosity, where is your jurisdiction?
Oh, Munich.
And you were here...
Oh, I actually happened to be in town when I heard of this. I was on some personal business. None of that pings as a lie to you.
Thank you. You beat me to it.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the whole truth, right? Like, he could have been like, I was here on personal business, shooting drugs.
with a gun, pew.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Who doesn't want to do that on person? Anyways. And are you an officer there?
He nods. Yes.
Alright, well, I'll hand him a card. If you hear anything, we're going to be looking into this as well, if you'd want to let us know.
Actually, I think now I will be leaving. I have been here for a day and nothing interesting has occurred.
I kind of want a sense motive of that, because he just said that he was going to be staying around.
Yeah, and then he changed his mind.
What's the sense motive? How do...
Read intentions is what you're looking for. And for that... Oh, I need to bring up my social combat. One second. So, for those in chat, the pattern spiders, the reason that I denied your fate roll, Lavana, is because the main character of this game of Princess that we're playing is in fact they've already met her several times and they have no idea what's going on. Okay, so perception and socialize, please. Huh. Okay.
I too.
I'm not sure. I'll
Do
have to
the
think about it. It
intentional.
doesn't fit with anything that I have going on, so I'll have to give it some thought. Go ahead and give me that roll, guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just double checking because I believe I
That's
also have that.
a.
Noise.
It's perception or wits and social.
Socialize. Ceaseless wouldn't create a child. It's not how alchemicals come into existence. Ooh. Okay, so, yeah, Darius, you realize that he changed his mind very suddenly because, he did change his mind very suddenly, but you get the feeling it's because he received some information somehow that changed his mind. Maybe a golem?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I got some. I got it.
Well, I hope you enjoy your trip then.
He nods. Yes, you as well. And he leaves. Just goes, gets into a rented car, and drives off.
I'm gonna write down his name on like the back of the card.
'Kay.
Just so that I don't forget.
Sorry, the back of the card, did you...
The back of the card that I was gonna hand him.
Oh, he did take the card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then yeah, I'll just like write it down on one of the extras that I carry on me.
Okay.
He opted to leave after taking my card and gaining new information. Great.
Promethean
do you want to
Lavana.
just go around and ask the rest of the people who are around, see if they have any other information?
Okay, something you both notice is as he's leaving, he nodded at the homeless guy, like, kind of respectfully, and then he got in the car and drove off.
Well, that isn't suspicious.
They do see quite a bit. They could have seen who did this.
Possibly. Do you think I probably shouldn't talk to anybody? At least not while we're here. Unless somebody else notices me. She kind of nods her head at the lieutenant.
Literally no one has noticed you at all.
I know.
Percy.
But, it's suspicious in and of itself that he noticed me.
Senpai.
No.
Why? I will go over to the homeless man and put some money in whatever hat or.
No,
box.
he's standing there. He just looks homeless. Like, he's looking at the church.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll walk up and ask, do you know anything about this? We just got to town and wanted to...
He's like, yeah, it's a fucking shame, right?
What happened?
Church burned down. Then he kind of looks at you like you're an idiot.
Do you know any of the details of what happened?
Well, there was a fire. So,
Great.
I don't know, man. I'm not from this neighborhood exactly. I'm from down that way, and he points down a road.
Ah.
But you know, church fire. So, came to see if the devil had risen, or if you know, we all getting raptured, or if it was just some jackass. But it's just a church fire. Between you and me, priest was a bit of a booze fiend. So maybe he still got some. And he looks back into the church.
Do you think he may have gotten drunk and burned the church down then?
I was thinking more like mistake, but I don't know, maybe like pissed off at God and just burns the church down.
With that interaction, I want to try and see
This
if
guy
he knows more
runs
again.
stupidly fast. Blew up his own. Sorry, you want to do which?
I want to do a read intentions again if possible to see if
Sure.
he's keeping anything.
Go ahead. Actually, the devil did burn it down.
You know,
It's
put
not a joke.
3 emotes into this as well.
All right, do it to it. Holy fuck. Yeah, this guy's full of shit. He clearly knows a lot more than he's letting on. And he's using mostly humor and the fact that he looks homeless to throw you off.
And is there any way that I can see about getting any more information about this at all?
Actually, with that high of a success, I'll allow you to intuit that what happened here is a group of people came into the church, and then one of them dumped 3 vials of explosive liquid into the basement, and then lit it on fire, causing the building to explode, the priest to turn into strawberry jam, and for them to be banned from the city.
I was about to be like,
Sorry,
Okay,
wrong
but
game. My bad. I apologize. That was from a different game. You wouldn't know it.
Deja vu.
God, you've been waiting for that for a while.
Oh no, actually that was a pattern spider came up with that. Fucking
My God.
props to the pattern spiders.
Nicely done.
No, he's clearly full of shit. He seems to be lying to you to get you to go away. He clearly doesn't want you around here. Like he's being almost purposefully unhelpful and obtuse to try and make you disgusted so you'll leave.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep standing there asking questions.
You've gone very quiet again.
Sorry. I'm just gonna keep standing there asking questions, I think, until he gets tired of me and chooses to answer. I'm trying to see if I have another
You
charm
keep going away, buddy.
I'm talking into my mic, I can't.
Okay, there you were good. All right. Anyway, so he gives you answers that are like, you know, he's pretty sure, like he's a bit of a booze hound himself, so he knows what it's like. He's pretty sure the priest just fucked up, and then he kind of grumbles about people don't respect the street anymore. He talks about a story where he was in the war and it was horrible, and he like kind of goes into some pretty graphic detail about some stuff he did to some people.
Okay.
But you can intuit from that he's a Vietnam vet.
Okay. I'll inquire as to where he served and go down that line of questioning.
Okay,
Um,
he says, why? And he looks at you.
Oh, I did too as well.
Where'd you serve?
I will name one of the more recent wars. I believe my
He's also a demon, so.
my history.
Okay.
Afghanistan?
Yeah, Afghanistan's a safe bet, I would say. He goes, cushy posted. You leave, you work at some FOB, and then you come home, and everyone's like, oh, this war's stupid, but, you know, you do what you had to.
As he's
Fucking
talking, I
rookies.
take my glove off to show my prosthetic.
Okay, he goes, what, so you left some skin behind? Wah.
Ah, I see you're like that. So, you obviously know more about what happened here. Are you willing to share?
All right. Look, busting your balls aside, you seem decent. Not busting my chops about Nam, so here's the thing. Night this all went down, priest had a lady over. Now, I think maybe this lady did something, and she's like on the lam. So, you know, I don't know what happened, but maybe talk to this lady. She kind of bolted out of here before the fire, like not too long, like maybe 20, 30, 2 hours, I don't know. But like she left pretty quick, and she went, and he like thinks for a minute, and then he burps into his own mouth, and then he thinks for a minute, and then he points down a road. He's like, that way. Pretty sure she went that way.
Do you know what she looks like at all by chance?
Yeah, nice black lady. And then he nods and he seems proud of himself.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely see about trying to find her, see if there's anything she can give us as well.
He goes, yeah, good luck, I'm out of here. And then he like turns around, farts loudly, and walks away.
Do you want me to do another read intentions to see if everything he was telling us is true?
Yeah, actually I do. Or I do a read intentions, right? Yeah. No, you do it.
You do it, and if his guile is lower than
Yeah, you do
the
it.
result.
You do it. Sorry, that feels weird to me. Wife is staring at me angrily. What? Is it not working for you, dear? Oh. Well, I'm using it. Just use the cart. Wife wants to order food with my phone, and I'm like, no, don't do that. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're back. So yeah, he as far as you can tell, he made that whole thing up. But he's now leaving.
Before he leaves, if I may, Mercy actually heads over, seeing his.
Okay, he looks over at you. He's like, "What?"
I just wanted to see if you needed anything.
No. And he turns and he walks away. All right, Levana, go ahead.
Not even from Zenith?
He says, "I don't know what the fuck a zenith is," and he keeps walking.
Mm-hmm. Sure you don't.
And he doesn't stop. Are you gonna physically accost him?
No.
Okay, well, great. So he leaves.
I'm gonna look at Mercy. He knows
Blair,
what he's
don't
letting
cook
on,
people.
and he's lying to us.
You want them raw.
There's a very solid possibility that he was the one behind this, but I didn't.
No, he
It
wasn't.
didn't seem like he was malicious.
He wasn't
Fire
behind
from
it.
inside the church.
Poor guy.
Do you tell me what he told you?
Yeah, I'll explain everything that he told me and let you know what was lies and what didn't seem to be lies, even though most of it was lies.
Babies are disgusting.
How likely is it that the priest would have a lady over?
I mean, you don't know him, so somewhere between 0 and 100%.
Anyways.
Oh, sorry,
But
you weren't asking me. I was like, what the
No.
fuck? I don't know.
Priests,
I mean, I do know, but you know, I don't.
depending on the relation, priests can be in relationships. So
True. I'd really like to get into the scene if we can.
are they letting people on?
There's no one stopping you. It's a poor neighborhood, so there was police tape here before, but it's on the ground.
We can come back at night.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
No, they do not, Blair. You gotta let them sin
I guess we'll
first.
just come back at night and try and investigate it that way.
Okay. While you guys are waiting, the other three, yes, arrive at the small town near where you were that this guy said his family lives in. I don't know what the town's name is. Let's call it Parksville. Just a random name.
Fair enough. Excuse me. Do we have an address for where this crime apparently happened?
You do, and you also know where the mom is living. She's staying at a full like care facility in the town.
Okay.
It's in some random place, let's say behind the public library.
Fair enough. All right. Where should we start, guys? Scene or go talk to this allegedly crazy lady?
Still wish I could see the tiger.
Me too,
But
buddy.
I guess we should talk to
That's
the
the
crazy
main
lady
plot.
first.
James is actually gonna snap at Ben. One of my friends has gone missing, and all you can talk about is that goddamn tiger.
Alright, I understand. Sorry.
And Cassandra was cursed
There's
to always know
got a lot
the
on
future,
my mind,
but never
okay?
be believed.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Okay, so you go to the long-term care facility, and when you arrive, there is you explain yourself at the front desk, and one of the nurses comes by, and a guy, and he says, "Yeah, so she's not really verbal, she doesn't really talk, but if you want to come see her, we did get told that you might be coming, so if you want to come this way, huge fan of yours, by the way. You guys have done great work."
Thank you.
Joe's gonna actually look really uncomfortable at that.
Ben also looks uncomfortable.
Please lead the way.
Okay, so as you're walking up, he's like, "Yeah, I mean, she doesn't talk. She just kind of stares at the wall usually. So I don't know how much you're gonna get out of her. I know you're here to investigate, but there's not really much to investigate. She went crazy, you know, her husband, and then here she is. She's been harmless ever since. But she went nonverbal about like 5 years ago, like pretty much immediately."
Well, we'll see what we can do here then.
He nods. Does anyone have spirit detecting glance?
I sure do, and it's active all of the time.
Great.
I just at the beginning of every scene.
Great. Do you have? Could you put the exact text of spirit detecting glance in the chat, please?
I will do my best.
Blair, she
Let
is
me find
already
it
that.
in
She's
here.
choosing not to talk because she's in the room with a monster
I think I can.
at all times.
Okay, so this is a quick temporary measure while I look up the full text. But
Thank you.
that's the temporary one, and I will try and find the full text.
Okay. So when you walk in, something on the back of your the back of your neck stands up, like the hairs on the back of your neck, and you feel like you should be able to see something in here immediately as soon as you get into the room.
That's a strange feeling. He's gonna say that loudly enough for Ben and it's James, right? Yeah, and James to hear.
Okay. So you get inside, and she is staring at one corner of the room, just sitting there immobile. She's reed thin. She looks aged well beyond her years, and she's just staring. She doesn't blink as much as possible. Like, it looks like she blinks when she's forced, and not a second earlier.
Like she holds on as long as she possibly can, as though like she's straining not to blink the whole time.
You'll see. She not like she's straining, but like she only blinks when her eyes dry out to the point where she has to, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't look to be straining. She looks like she's been doing this for, I don't know, years.
5 years, in fact.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
The nurse is a full pass joined, by the way.
Joe's gonna cross the room and say quietly, and sorry, her last name will be the same.
Yes.
Mrs. Out of character, I don't remember the last name.
Baker.
Mrs. Baker?
She does not respond.
Joe is going to kind of nod to the others, and he's going to just kind of like sit across from her and murmur quietly, just kind of like some, just the beginnings of a conversation, kind of carrying on one half of a conversation.
Okay.
I have a charm called First Knowledge is Grace, which
Uh-huh.
allows me to teach those who are vegetative, extremely disabled,
Okay.
or otherwise unable to learn.
Okay.
We're going to try to teach her to speak.
Great. It fails.
Ooh. Darn.
It fails specifically because she doesn't seem to be unable to speak. She's choosing not to. Which I don't think that charm normally gives you, but I'll give you because you're nice.
Joe knows that this should work, and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't. And he intuits from that. All right.
If I may,
Please.
I
Don't believe she's unable to speak. And then he kind of like gets up, gives her a look. There's some compassion to the look, like something he knows something's up, but he doesn't know what. And then he moves aside.
Okay.
James is going to move himself so he's in her line of sight. And
Okay. She blinks immediately when you enter her line of sight. Like, as soon as you're in front of her.
Hi, Miss Baker.
She doesn't respond.
My name is James.
There is
I've
a window,
been,
yes.
uh,
But you might
contracted by your
want to wait till you see
husband
what's going on.
to look into your
Sorry, just to be clear, this was not her husband who contracted us. It was her son.
Yeah, no, her husband's very much dead.
Right, it
Her
was
husband's
the
the
husband,
the
sorry.
Do you still say that?
No.
Okay.
Oh god, no. Oh yeah.
We've been contracted by your husband. She immediately bolts into the ceiling in fear.
I've been contracted by your son to look into your husband's death.
She snorts. Like,
I'd very much love to hear anything that you can tell me about what happened.
she says, my husband was killed, you're next.
Oh?
Just like the lad from yesterday. You're dead.
You remember my friend Samuel?
Sure.
Not everyone seems to.
Nope. Dog got him.
What dog's this?
She looks, she looks back, like, right through you.
I'm gonna reach back into the space that she's looking into,
Okay?
and I'd like to put a moat into the air around there.
Not really. Alright. It dissipates into the air normally.
Okay.
Joe's definitely gonna he sees you reach back. Joe's at least gonna like focus in on that location. Still nothing. Spirit detecting.
You still can't see anything, but something's definitely up. Like, there's something in this room. You're sure of it. You're just not sure anything else.
You know what? There's a presence in this room. One other than
She
us.
nods. Dog.
Where?
She looks past James again. And then she points and says, it's right there.
Why can't we see it?
I don't know. No one else can see it. Just me.
Hmm.
Just me and sometimes that stupid boy of mine. Probably my ungrateful daughter if she'd ever visit.
Do you have any? Do you happen to know why
Nope,
that should be?
she is not cursed. She shakes her head.
Sorry, I don't think your son told us about your daughter. Can you tell us anything about her?
Haven't seen her. For years. She says that She thinks I did it. She was there. She still says I did it. I didn't do it.
I believe you, if that helps.
She says, "You're dead. Tomorrow, the nurse will say I never talk. And you'll be gone. Dog will be here. I'll be here. You'll be dead."
I'm a lot harder to kill than most people.
She shakes her head and goes, "That's what the last guy said."
I'd like to reflect on kind of what she's been saying the last little while and see if I can discern any lies out of it.
Okay. Yeah, you automatically pass. She's a normal human mortal person, and no, she seems to be telling you the direct, honest truth.
Joe actually puts a hand on James's
You guys will
shoulder
just
and
have to
says,
see.
"I can feel a presence. It feels like I should be able to see something, but I can't."
She nods and goes, "Good for you."
And I take it I'm dead too.
She nods. "It doesn't kill me."
Just anyone you speak to.
No, not everyone. Just idiots like you that come looking. Because my son, he hires people like you to come looking, and they always end up gone. Just like you. See? It's seen you now. Now you're screwed.
Joe actually gulps.
Anyway, go to your little looky-loo. It'll find you eventually.
What do most people... Has anyone...
Well, they talk to me, get scared out of their fucking boots, and then they go over to the house and find nothing, and then they usually go to the cops, and sometime after that get eaten.
Has anyone ever come to you with...
Do you, Lavana? Do you?
something that they do believe? Something other than go look at the house?
She shakes her head. I can't even keep them straight in my head, and I know better. Ah, okay. Don't give it away.
What do you think we're dealing with here? He's kind of asks James.
Clearly something from the spooky side of the street.
She snorts again.
Well,
Keep guessing, though. Keep
it sounds
guessing.
like getting scared didn't help anyone, so we'll do the opposite of that.
She snorts again and goes, "Sure.
What?
Hey, do me a favor. Take longer than 8 hours so I can get a good night's sleep for a fucking change."
Is that how long it usually takes?
Give or take.
You're not sleeping.
I don't sleep well. Dog's here. You wouldn't either.
I can't say that I would. Listen, he's actually gonna kind of Has Ben entered the room?
Yeah, Ben's there.
All right. He's gonna glance at Ben, and he's gonna say, "If this creature can be defeated, I'm confident that the people in the room right now are the ones who can do it. But when did this start? 5 years ago?
She nods. Probably longer, but 5 years is when it got my husband.
Do you know why it got him?"
She shakes her head. No. I don't think I'm supposed to know. I don't think you can know. But something happened, now I know. And now it's sticking around.
Well,
When did you first see it?
5 years ago. It ate my husband.
Was that the first you'd seen of it?
She nods.
Any strangeness before that? Any strange behavior from your husband?
No, he was working late, but he always does. But he came home and, well, I was passed out on the couch until I heard... Well, until it happened.
I don't want... I wouldn't normally pry, but it sounds like one or more lives depend on it. What happened that night?
I woke up. There's blood all over the living room. Kids were freaking out. So I grabbed them. We ran out. But I saw the damn thing. And as I'm running away, it followed me. But it just followed. It didn't attack me. It didn't finish off my husband. It just left. It followed. And then it never stopped following.
Well,
False Hydra?
hmm.
Is it still here?
She nods. It's right there. She points to the corner. There's nothing in that corner. It's real small right now, so it fits.
It's
Huh.
normally
what?
bigger, I believe.
She shakes her head. No. No, it can be bigger. My son doesn't know what he saw. I got a good look at it.
When strange things happen, sometimes there's no explanation. But if there was one, what would you guess it was? Why would this be after your husband? Why would it not come after you?
She shakes her head. I don't think it's like that. It's like an animal. It just looks at me like it's scared almost. But, I mean, it keeps killing people, so it can't be that scared. But
Or
it doesn't eat me. I mean, it's
That's-
right there. I'd be dead in a heartbeat. You'd all forget I even existed.
A frightened animal can be the most dangerous. And actually, Joe shares a look with Ben. If this is really
Ben,
an animal,
can we deal with the tiger? Ben, what is your last name? Ben, can we please deal with the tiger last name? You don't have one. God damn it.
um,
Slouhu, but it's technically the first name, because
Oh, okay, I
Thanks.
see. So you've got like a traditional name, and then you've got a I am totally English, don't mind me name.
sort of, yeah.
Okay.
After a glance at Ben, Joe kind of finishes. A frightened animal can be more dangerous than anything but a hungry one. And if has it gone long periods of time without killing anyone? Years? Months?
She shakes her head. Nah, it's about every 3 months or so, give or take. Once it went away on its own, and then it came back.
Then it's maybe hungry, but it
She says, it's about time. Did just eat, but, you know.
if you really think it's an animal, you said it acts as though it's frightened?
No. Yeah, it doesn't act nothing. It just stares at me like it doesn't know what I am or something.
Have you ever gotten any other sensations from it? Things like that.
She shakes her head. I don't know. I just look at it, and it looks at me, and one day I'm gonna die of old age. Actually, Lavana, I just
This
changed Ben's
beam-
character sheet.
Like it could almost be. I know what I associate dogs with.
She nods. It's kind of like a dog.
Some of them are protective.
She shakes her head. Not this one.
It feels threatening to you.
She says, "Yeah, look at it.
He tries to look at it.
You can't see shit."
He shakes his head at her. I can't.
She nods. Yeah, I know.
So either we're dealing with a supernatural creature which is hungry and does this because that's its nature.
She
or
says,
or
it's gonna take much longer. It's almost lunchtime, and your impending demise notwithstanding, it's pudding day.
perhaps we'll join you for pudding. I don't imagine you get much company.
She sighs. Alright, fine.
Just out of curiosity,
That's a good idea,
Mr. Jordan.
Blair. It's a great idea. They should do that.
whatever this thing is, is it exuding wild energies?
No.
Okay. Just for sake of the one.
She
turn.
says she points over and says, "Hand me that pad of paper."
I hand it over.
And she starts drawing something. She sketches it out. It looks like she sketched this out about 100 times before. But she draws one of the most fucked up renditions of a canine that you've ever seen. It seems to be made of faces, skulls, and blood and matted fur. And it halfway through her drawing, the form shifts into some like hazy gray smoke liquid. And she hands it off and she says, "When you see that, you're about to die."
Thanks.
No problem. That's probably an outdated picture now.
It changes form.
All the time. That's all it does. Always has eyes, though.
Did I get any indication that it looked anything like the void tech that we saw?
No, not at all.
Okay.
That looked like tumors, right? With
Yeah.
metal in them.
No, actually, they're tumors in the shape of technology. So it's
Oh.
like a gear made of bone and meat.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
No, Lavada.
I'm gonna pass that over to Joe. Thank you for.
She says, "No problem. Leave me to my fucking pudding."
Can we send anything your way?
Pudding.
Pudding it is.
Wait, put me in your whip. No, fuck, that won't work. Never mind.
Is that because no one will see
No
a
one will
will?
remember you, so
It'll vanish.
you won't have a will. I won't get shit.
Okay.
Besides, my son's rich, apparently.
Yeah.
So, you know, I get pudding.
Let's give Mrs. Baker some space.
She goes, "Yep." And as soon as you walk away from the front of her, you see her, like, tense up immediately. She is pretty great.
Well, if we don't get
She's
eaten,
been staring her
we'll be
death in
back.
the face for 5 years. She goes,
Uh,
"You will be. Bye."
Bye. Joe,
Yes,
could you give Adam a call? And
I absolutely intend on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so first of all, would it be at all helpful for Joe to roll occult again based on new information? Or
Yeah, you could try it, like an intelligence and occult roll to see if you can determine what this thing is.
yes.
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
Okay,
It's
cool.
gonna fail.
I'm gonna
This is
do
a
that.
unique creature.
I'm gonna use a full excellency from personal.
Fuck yeah, do it to it, man.
All right.
Let's figure out what
wish
this
me
thing
luck.
is. There's only one of them. It's an anomaly. Something which does not and should not exist.
Appears to be 7
Ouch.
successes.
On 14 dice, that's brutal. All right,
That is actually midline. It's approximately 50%.
8 it would be midline.
Yeah, you're right. never mind.
Anyway,
Wait, no, because 0 is an option.
yes, exactly. It skews it upward. At any rate, you dig deep into your knowledge that you've gained over the last few weeks and month, and you come up short. There is nothing that this thing sounds like. Something that changes its shape and its appearance constantly, apparently, can only be seen by one woman, and also eats people in such a way that they cease to have existed is pretty outside the norm. Your first instinct is
Even
she
for
might
magic.
be cursed. This might just be a curse.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. Blah.
yeah, I was
She's not.
getting that feeling too.
There's
How
a
do,
real big twist here.
How do we break a curse? I'm going to call Adam.
Okay. Once we've checked out, I'll start driving us over to their house.
Okay, while you guys are on the way there, let's get back to Santa Monica. So during the night, you guys arrive at the church. Weirdly, there are more people here than there were during the day, but all of them are those looky-loos who are just staring at the church.
Not the same ones, or the same ones?
No, different ones. But also, you're not here. Get out of here.
Yeah, just make
Get out of
sure.
here, shoot!
I
You
wanted
get here, you
to. On the way to the church, I'm going to call Sally.
Okay. She answers the phone. Yes?
I need a name and photo.
I don't have it. If I had
I
that,
need
it'd be
it.
a lot fucking easier, wouldn't it?
I need a description then.
Don't have it. It's not how this works. I'm not being obtuse here either. There's no orders against it. I just don't have it. No one does. And if we did, it would be worthless.
Why?
Because it
That's
could be
classic.
different.
Can your commander change his face or something?
You could say that.
All right. Does he change his attitude? What's he act like? We met a vet
She
who
nods.
seemed like an
Yeah,
ass that
he
like,
can
was-
be whatever he needs to be. He's almost impossible to track down, which is why me and my men have had such a hard time of it. We're hoping that something stands out to you that didn't stand out to us. This is a shot in the dark.
I don't suppose he can turn into a giant black dog.
Why?
Curiosity.
He hasn't that I know of.
Oh, good.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's everything.
The line goes dead.
You know, I was really hoping.
Actually, she didn't say goodbye, which necessitates that
Oh, okay.
Darius
the
begins
darkness
crying
jokes.
and blows his own brains out.
Wow.
It's yeah, that's
Uh,
tradition.
So you said that there were more of the same. Are they the same looky-loos or no? At the church?
No, these ones are different. Again, all walks of life, all different types.
You know, I was really hoping that both of our investigations would be just wrapped up with a neat little bow. But suppose only some miracles can happen during a day.
How are we supposed to track a shape changer who doesn't want to be found?
She didn't specifically say shape changer.
She implied
Abs.
Im-
No, I need to know more
True,
about
but
the
there's
silence
also
first, Luana.
other things that
I don't watch Doctor Who, so
can change their form, not like spirits, right? Like what if what if he's dead and he possesses people?
it. Fair.
No, I'm not saying I see dead people.
No, only Joe does that. Which is really odd. I want to know all of that. Anyways, I'm gonna look around. Is the guy that we met earlier in the area?
the homeless guy or the actually moot point? No, neither of them are.
I can get the looky-loos away, but it'll cost us. At least our anonymity.
Are there people who are already in there?
Nope. Everyone is standing around the perimeter of the burned down church, staring into the middle of it.
And they're all just chatting away?
Nope. They're all completely silent.
Oh. I'm gonna go and investigate the people. Are they
Okay.
responsive at all?
When you walk up to one, it's an Indian woman. She turns and says, "Welcome."
Hi. I was just curious as to what's happening.
Oh, I'm fairly sure that one of my kids is gone. And she just looks.
What makes you say that?
He was brought here, and then there was a fire.
But they were saying that there was only one set of bones.
I didn't say dead.
Just gone?
Well, she gestures to the burned down church. Do you see a lost little boy here?
No. Is that why everybody's here?
No, I don't know why they're here, and she gestures around.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Oh no, sorry. I'm a social worker.
Ah. Okay. Sorry for the misunderstanding.
It still matters to me, but he wasn't my son or anything.
Yeah.
Just a kid with a hard life.
That is honestly the worst, and I hope things get better.
Yeah, that's fine, Lavana.
I'm gonna try and disengage from the conversation.
She lets you go. Once you leave, though, she turns around and leaves the area as well.
Okay.
Mercy, they all have different reasons for being here. Like, one of them is like, this was my church. Another one is like, I thought I saw one of my friends here on the news. They're all different plausible excuses.
Do they all leave after we finish talking?
No, most of them stay, actually. A few of them
Okay.
leave, but not many.
Okay. Seeing as the out of the 3 people do, they've all left.
Kind of pulls Darius to the side. Is it not very suspicious that the second we talk to some of these people that they just leave?
Yeah, it is.
Like, I don't know if I'm being paranoid at this point, but I mean, stranger things have happened.
Could just be they were finished mourning whatever they've lost, if they have lost something. There's no police or anything around.
Nope.
I'll step in and
Yep,
start looking
agreed.
through the rubble, see if there's any. I'm not gonna like get on all fours and dig through it, but I'm just gonna investigate around the rubble.
Okay, so as soon as you walk in, you immediately detect the scent of sulfur. Clearly, this fire was started using an accelerant because it looks like a lot of stuff was burned to ash pretty much immediately as soon as the fire started, especially near the center.
Okay. Is there any other scents that I can smell?
For that, you need an investigation check.
I can distinguish with. I can distinguish different smells.
Okay, in that case, you could detect whiskey. There's some burned cigarette smell. There's the smell of burned human feces. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Mercy's also gonna join in the investigation.
Okay. Let me know when you guys want to roll that.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Is there any way I can assist, like, Darius in investigating?
Yeah, so you'd make an investigation check as well, and then you add your successes as dice to his check.
Because I feel like maybe Darius has better investigation.
Whole 0.
For
Darius can assist
what,
with my
Nick?
investigation.
I don't know. No, this doesn't count as tracking a character. Yeah. No. Yeah, I have a whole 0. I will try
Oh,
to
the dog.
aid
Nah,
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it.
Wits an investigation, Jordan?
Yep. Or wait, perception? Perception investigation.
Okay. Darius, you roll first.
Damn.
I get
Mm.
2 bonus just because I have my senses on.
Would I add that as a bonus then?
You
In the
added as
item?
6 extra dice.
So, a bonus.
A bonus.
Oh, goody.
So between the two of you, so pattern spiders, just so you know, so Darius just rolled 6 successes to add to Mercy's roll, and Mercy rolled 6 successes. So it's completely superfluous. Anyway, so as you're looking through, you find a mostly burned pornographic magazine. It's heavily creased.
Mercy
Like-
gags a little.
Slightly used.
Very clearly loved, actually.
Mercy gags a lot.
Also, next to it, there's an empty, partially melted wrapper for a Slim Jim.
Oh.
Uh, so real quick, I want to ask a question, Jordan.
Uh-huh.
So,
Because the devil was here. He was reading
for 7
and
motes,
having
the
a
Zenith
Slim
may
Jim.
order a dematerialized spirit to manifest.
Yeah.
How would I recognize that there's spirits here in general without spirit detecting lens?
You could just guess.
If
Mercy
he's telling you you can't, just gotta ask Joe.
is
Joe, were there any spirits in this picture?
That's a
Yeah,
really
not
good
here.
Live
point,
video
actually.
that I'm.
Don't do it either. He took a video and it didn't work.
Yeah, no.
No, but he saw spirits through video.
Live video, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna video. If you actually, never mind. You haven't stated what you want to do.
Yeah, what did you want to do there, Mercy?
like ideally, I'd like to use my Zenith ability to order the priest's
Oh,
spirit.
neat. Order the recently deceased to manifest.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the requirements for you to use that ability?
Charisma and presence persuade action with essence automatic successes. All spirits inherently recognize the unconquered sun's authority and the priest kings and are compelled as if by a defining intimacy.
Okay,
But
but you don't
basi-
have to know anything about the spirit?
Nope.
Great, try it.
I tell
Yeah,
Darius
Ghostbusters
that's
on-
what I
on
think
Zoom.
I'm going to do.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, we eventually had to have people figure out who we were, so why not right now? Have a.
Mercy's gonna go over. They said that they were in the parish, right? The priest died in the parish.
Yeah.
Based
You
on
can actually see there's another circle of police tape where clearly marking out where the body used to be.
Mercy's gonna go over there, and just very kind of hesitantly stretch out her arm
Okay.
and
You could
just
say that.
pulling on the essence within, and her limited knowledge of what she can do as a Zenith.
This feels very natural and instinctive. Your cast powers are always things that you just immediately know you can do.
Yeah. And she's gonna order the priest spirit to materialize.
Okay, he appears instantly. He's holding up his cross, facing away from you, and chanting in Latin. As soon as he appears, he stops, turns back, and says, "What happened?" And then he looks down at himself and he goes, "No, no, no, no."
It's okay. It's okay. We're here to
He
help
looks
you.
around and says, he holds his cross up at you and says, "Be gone, be gone."
What happened?
He's still holding his cross up. He's clearly terrified. You gonna do anything else? No? You don't technically have to. He has a defining intimacy to answer your fucking questions.
What happened here?
He says, "You know, spawn of the devil.
I don't. Tell me
You
what
burned
happened.
my church.
I did not.
And me. You've killed me."
I did not.
"No, it was the boy. The boy did it. You know him.
Describe the boy.
He was a small child, Hispanic boy, but he spoke with an ancient tongue, and the things he said, horrible.
He looks at Darius to start writing this the fuck down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm-
You as you turn to look away from the spirit, you notice literally everyone is staring at you specifically, Mercy. They are all looking very interested.
Good thing I used personal modes.
Sure.
I did.
I mean, yeah, sure. It's a
Wait.
good thing. Yeah.
And
Because all these demons came here to find Lucifer.
so he
and,
spoke in Latin.
Sorry?
He spoke in a horrible tongue. Latin, something.
He seems to be thinking, and he says, "No, Spanish. He spoke Spanish."
So he spoke Spanish, but he was a boy.
He nods, and then he says, "How do you not know these things?
Because
Surely."
I wasn't the one who burned down your church. I'm still talking.
He immediately shuts up. His mouth actually slams shut, like something closed it for him.
Sorry. So the boy came here, arrived. What happened? Tell me everything from when the boy arrived.
He says he arrived with the woman, the Indian woman. She brought him and told me that he needed my help, which was confusing. I normally I call them to tell them children need them. But I'm a priest. I can barely cover our expenses. I can't take care of children. And she said I had to help him. And then she left, and not long after, a man came, an irreverent man. We shared a drink, and then he asked to see the child.
What did the man look like? Describe him.
Short, white. He was rich. He had a nice car. He seemed personable. But he spoke as if he knew. Like he knew the child was here. And when he asked to see the child, I just took him. And then the child screamed. And you see him like straining to remember, but it's clearly not working. And then Lucifer said, "Get thee hence," and the church burned to the ground. But
Church burned down.
he shakes his head, and then he nods, and then he thinks, he says, "I can't remember."
Okay. So you don't remember after the child screams. Why did you grab your cross?
He looks in his hand and sees the cross and says, "Something made me need it. Something told me to use it. The man told me to use it. He said I was a man of God and to use the cross." But why? He was not a man of the cloth. Neither was I. I was leaving. He looks down and he says, "I have cancer." Had cancer?
I'm sorry to hear that.
He
But-
he thinks for a long moment. Then he says, I don't think I'm leaving now, but it's too late, isn't it? I've been condemned for my unfaithfulness."
Do I know where he's like I've brought him from, or do I just summon him?
You just summon him. He was
Okay.
dematerialized, whatever the fuck that means.
All right,
You just know that you can compel spirits.
right.
Oh, it gets darker. The child was possessed and calling for its master.
You held up your cross. Do you know where the child went after?
He shakes his head. No, I don't remember anything.
What was the prayer that he was saying when he first materialized?
Oh, it was the Lord's Prayer in Latin.
Okay.
Sort of. There is no heaven here. Never was.
Is there anything else of significance that you can think of that happened that night?
The man, he spoke like he knew me, and he knew about my liquor, and he knew about the boy, and he said the boy called him, and then he said that he had failed.
He had failed.
I'm sorry, I'm trying so hard,
I know, and I appreciate it.
but I have to tell you, there's something so important. And then you could see him straining, but he's failing.
If I order you as the Zenith to tell me, would you be able to tell me? Do you think?
He looks very confused about a lot of the things you just said. Just because he's a spirit doesn't mean he understands
I know.
anything
Well,
about
I,
you.
I know. It was mostly like half musing out loud and just.
Okay.
You said you had something important to tell me, yes?
He says, yes, it's the... it is the...
I order you as the Zenith of the Unconquered Sun to tell me.
You see him strain, and as soon as you say, I order you as the Zenith of the Unconquered Sun, his eyes snap open. He looks directly into your eyes, and he says, it is the end of days. And he disappears. Unfinished business resolved.
Oh.
Anyway, back at Park's Tile, or whatever I called it, you guys are traveling to the house, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
The battered spiders say, suddenly he gets a look of realization and says, that's right. We've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
I order you as the Zenith of the Unconquered Sun to waive my fees.
Anyway, so you arrive at the house, which looks like no one's been here in 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, the house where the thing took place.
There's one detail that's a little weird.
Yep.
There's about 24 cars parked in the driveway.
I take it these belong to the prior victims.
James, you recognize one of them.
Oh.
Is it Samuel's?
It is Samuel's.
Oh.
Right
It's
down
the
to
last
license
one
plate.
parked.
I see. That's a neat detail. Nice
I
work,
don't
Gord.
think we should go in there, and yet maybe we will be able to succeed where the others failed. She said take at least 8 hours so she can sleep. That, maybe we're on borrowed time already. How long has it been since we talked to her, by the way, in character?
From the time she told you that to now, about 45 minutes.
Talk to Adam yet?
Joe. Oh right, Joe wanted to phone Adam from the car.
Okay, so on the way over, you explain
On the
the
way over.
situation, and Adam says that it doesn't sound like a curse he's heard of before, but he believes that it could be. He doesn't know what else it could be. And he, according to him, has seen phoenixes.
Does he have any? Does he know how one would break a curse?
Yes, absolutely. All you need to know is the exact wording and details of the curse, and then you have to deal with whatever ironic nonsense that the fate has decreed will solve the curse. He actually describes it as ironic nonsense.
Is there any more specificity that you have than ironic nonsense, or is it different every time?
He says, aside from the large curses, which this is not one of them, they are all unique. Usually uttered by someone's dying breath. Curses
So
are
we
mostly
would-
permanent.
So we would be best suited to figure out if the her husband or the woman herself was responsible for something that someone would have uttered in their dying breath. Maybe we should find that out first.
While you're on the way over, he says there is always one final option if the curse is too disruptive to normal mortal society.
Sorry, can you say that again?
He says there is always the final option if the curse is being too disruptive to normal mortal society.
Do you mean to say that you can destroy the one who's cursed?
You can practically hear the nod of the head over the phone. He says, for obvious reasons, I recommend you do some investigation first.
Clearly. Alright, thank you, Adam.
By the way, he picked up the phone immediately. It's clear that he's like literally waiting for your phone calls.
Yeah, yep, makes sense.
Adam, would you like to come down for a visit?
He says, yes, I'll be right there.
Okay. Do you... What?
Shall I give you the address we're headed to?
If you'd like, yes.
I give him the address of that house. And then Joe kind of like, says his goodbyes and,
Okay.
Is there anything else you think would be useful to us? Assume you're talking to someone who knows nothing about the supernatural.
He says, oh, I have been. No. Without knowing the details of the curse, it's impossible.
Alright.
Usually, in cases like this, we end up leaving the curse in place. Unless it's too much and it's threatening too many people, in which case we have to deal with it.
James counts the cars and says, it looks like there's been approximately this many...
No, we haven't arrived yet, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
pardon me. Okay, never mind.
That will be a consideration for when he shows up.
Anyway, you arrive.
During the rest of the drive, the other 43 or 42 minutes of the drive, Joe's gonna try and dig up dirt on Mr. Baker Sr.
Okay, as far as you can tell, he was kind of just like a normal, slightly overworked, middle-aged guy with 2 kids.
He wasn't particularly wealthy.
No, not really.
His
Wasn't
son got
particularly
well.
He didn't really have like any major achievements to his name. He was just kind of, he was a guy.
Any news appearances? And obviously not, or you would
he
tell
was
me right
murdered.
now. Right before his murder.
Well, everything surrounding the murder is like interviews from people who knew him and stuff was like, he was always in his office. He was working a lot. He had a mean golf swing.
Seems normal enough. And besides, he wasn't the target. Joe is going to pay attention to Mrs. Baker.
Okay. She was in a band in high school. It didn't go anywhere. She met Mr. Baker sometime after that, and they had 2 kids. By all accounts, she was completely normal up until that point, and then apparently she snapped one day and killed her husband brutally in their living room. They never even found the body.
That would be newsworthy. And
Subsequent interviews paint her as a distraught woman who has clearly suffered some sort of psychotic break.
Okay. Assuming Joe is thinking out loud.
yeah, Joe mutters to himself.
James, screeches to a halt for a second in surprise, hopefully missing whoever's in front of him.
This is small town something Vegas, so there's no traffic on the road. You're fine.
Okay, whoa, hold up.
Yes.
Okay, we remember Samuel. Some of us, sorry, Ben.
But everyone else has forgotten him. There's
Yes.
no record of his existence.
Ah.
If we
That's weird.
if we
Except-
looked,
They can
looked
remember
for
a
his
victim.
social insurance number, we would probably find nothing.
Yes.
But this
And-
man still, and she, both of them still exist.
Yes.
That I thought that was odd too. It's why I'm looking them up. It's why I think that Mr. Baker wasn't the target of this curse.
Is there any information about the daughter
Um,
public?
I mean, she tries to keep herself pretty private. It's clear that
Given what happened.
given what happened, yeah, and,
Okay,
and
but-
there's a few interviews of her, but she was a distraught child. And since then, she's gone on to be like, you know, she's working at a advertising firm, but she's in a different city, and
Okay, she still exists. So.
oh yeah, yeah, you can actually look up her like what's it called? Not IMDb, LinkedIn profile.
Gotcha. Okay, he'll.
For what?
Resume.
Claire?
Joe,
Driving.
Joe's gonna do that.
Okay, Joe, the Pattern Spiders likes the cut of your jib in this investigation.
Ah.
Gain a free XP.
Cool, thank you, Pattern Spiders.
The genius idea was actually,
Pattern spiders
the
are
other
the
guy, but-
best, except when they're not.
I mean, the Pattern
it's okay,
Spiders
we
are
don't know about the
responsible
times
for
that-
fully 30% of the bad things that happen to you.
Yeah, but we're not aware of those, so we're not gonna.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Once we make it to the house, I'd like to go in and have a look alone, if you don't mind, so I can get an unbiased view, and then.
I actually greatly appreciate that. Take this with you, and he gives an earpiece and a body cam. It's not like strapped to your chest body cam, but it's
Yeah.
designed to actually sit, kind of actually like be.
It's a lapel
har-
cam.
It's a lapel cam, yeah, exactly, but secured in place a little more so it doesn't flap around with a lapel.
Okay. Because you look so sexy in a camera, I assume, the Pattern Spiders have given you an XP as well, James.
Oh, thank you, Pattern Spiders.
Actually, it was for the realization and being like, ooh, wait, that's significant.
Yeah.
That was a good
Um,
catch, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey Ben.
Yeah.
If you hear a high-pitched girly scream, can you come in and make sure I'm not getting wiped out of existence, please?
Did I not just follow you in?
Let me go in with the place, well, not really undisturbed, but I think I just need to concentrate without distractions for a couple minutes here.
Alright, I'll be right outside the door.
Thank you. Alright. Time to do some night stuff.
Okay, so you walk in the front door, which is unlocked, and you immediately see Samuel's corpse on the ground. There's blood everywhere.
Oh.
It looks like he was torn to shreds by a wild animal. Pieces of him are missing.
Sorry, Sam. Okay.
Joe hides the
Thank you,
contents
Blair.
of the screen from Ben for a moment, just like subtly, kind of tilts it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, a crime occurred in here.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Actually,
Watchman's
wait,
infallible eye.
is that really a crime? I think you have to have. I don't think it was. Never mind. I take that back. There was no
It
crime
has to
here.
bear investigation. It has to be worthy of investigation.
Well, no. I think crime implies intent. It implies a certain moral agency.
Watchman's infallible eye is more about whether something is worthy of inspection.
Ah, okay. Then yes, a crime occurred here.
Okay.
Actually, a lot of crimes occurred here.
No kidding.
Okay. This is gonna be a lot of motes, so just give me a second to get everything in line.
My apologies. She feels the character feels an instinct each time she encounters a scene in which a case, scene, or profile character action should be used.
Oh,
So
okay.
case scene meaning there's information to be uncovered.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so James, and I'd like to stunt this if I can.
You can stunt every roll, and I highly encourage you to do so.
Okay. James takes a moment to close his eyes and breathe in the sense of what has transpired in this home. He reaches out with his essence, and little patterns begin to form between all of the objects and
Get ready for a doozy, guys.
scratch marks on walls, the impressions of footprints left in the carpet, and he, like a small nuclear explosion that suddenly gets poofed out of existence just after it explodes, his essence floods the dwelling, and this network begins to pour information into his brain.
I'll give you 2 for that.
Thank you.
You added like carpet into this room, scratch marks on the walls. Love it.
Okay. So I just need to make sure I got all of this.
Yeah, you just linked like 5 charms, so I'm gonna need you to tell me what the fuck they do.
Sure. So I've got one that, by examining undisturbed evidence, I can flawlessly recreate.
Great, I got that one. That's a
okay.
crafty observation method.
Yep. I can see the order and the links between objects.
Mhm.
And sorry. These
Actually,
are
I'm reading through these probably quicker than you can describe them.
Yes.
Okay, so great. So you walk around the living room, and as you complete your circuit, you realize several things in a very quick fashion. The first is that Samuel was killed very, very recently, like in the last 24 hours, but that the blood that he left has not dried. It is exactly the same amount of wetness as if it, and warmth, as if it just came out of his body. You also notice that you aren't doing a methodical walk around this room. It's almost like you're avoiding certain parts of it. And in realizing that, you realize that Samuel's body is not the only one here. Judging by the route you took, this place must be full of them. And you realize that there's no smell of rot, no off or decaying scents. So clearly, several things have happened here. There have been many killings here. Murders would be wrong, because it's very clear that this was done by an animal, or at least something with an animal level of intelligence. But it's happened enough times that this room is almost impossible to walk through without carefully picking your way through, which you did instinctively, almost against your wishes. And you only realize because you are an Exalt, and understanding the connection between things is impossible for you to miss. You determine that there are still many bodies in this room, none of which have decayed in any way, shape, or form, and you're willing to put down all the money that you're worth, that all of them are completely undisturbed, and that they cannot be disturbed, including your poor friend Samuel.
I see.
Apparently, even microbial life avoids them.
So, if I, say, take the pen out of my pocket and try to jab one of these bodies, nothing happens.
No. Well, you go to do it, and then you find that you stop before you do it, so you force yourself to, and you feel some resistance, like you're poking something.
Yeah. Okay.
But at the same time, your brain is rebelling and telling you there's nothing there.
Mhm.
Like, you poke it, forget why you were doing that, stand up to draw some conclusions, and the Exalt part of you realizes what just happened.
See.
Give me a Wits and Integrity check, please.
Okay. And this isn't wild?
No, not at all.
And can I spend motes on this, or is this
Go nuts.
flat roll.
You get excellencies, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. God, I'm burning through.
That's okay. I'm fine with that.
9 successes.
Okay,
on it.
you are now standing in what is very clearly a feeding den of some horrible animal. There are dozens of bodies in here, more than there were cars outside. They're all ripped to shreds. They're all in various states of togetherness. Some of them have clearly been all very thoroughly eaten, others not so much. All of them are fresh, completely fresh, like they just died. The room is awash in blood. It's everywhere. So much so that even the TV only has a few clean spaces on it. They also died in separate areas in the room. They aren't piled up. They're all very clearly dead, not next to each other. Almost like they avoided dying near another person.
Any tracks through the?
None.
Joe's gonna weigh
Joe
in
doesn't
and
see
say-
anything.
Yeah, Joe doesn't see any of this.
You can see Samuel's body.
What are you looking at? You've been kneeling in that empty part of the room for some time.
James will blah all of that in a quiet, calm voice.
Madre de Dios.
You still can't see anything.
Yeah, no, I still can't see anything. I'm aware of that, for sure. Madre de Dios. You should... Do not be alone in there and stay near the bodies. If they avoided each other and only died when they got too far from one, they may be all that's keeping you from being
Wrong
attacked
lesson.
by something you can't perceive or recall. You could be seeing it and not realizing you're seeing it. I
On
may
that
only be
note-
safe because I am here with Ben.
On that note, back in Santa Monica,
Oh no.
yeah, don't worry about him. He's fine. What were you guys doing to finish or to continue your investigation?
So real quick.
Oh, right. The dead priest just told you it's the end of days.
Yeah. We get motes back when we rest for at least an hour, right?
Yeah, I think you get just motes back every hour.
Okay. Because I would have
Yeah.
had some motes back. So
Yeah, you get 5 motes back at the top of the hour, I believe, or it's minute? Because it's rounds in combat, but it's longer.
Okay.
I think it's hours. I'll have to look that up.
I just wanted to make sure I got my motes back from when I spent them at the beginning of the day. Go
You've
ahead.
almost certainly recovered them. So yeah, the priest tells you it's the end of days and disappears. Yeah, it's 5 motes per hour, I was right.
Huh.
Like, and you know he disappeared because part of your brain says he went to the River Lethe to reincarnate, but you're not sure where you're getting that information. The tiger is infected by
Mercy
Void Tech.
pulls
The
her
main
phone
plot
and
is the tiger.
taps out several text messages to James.
Okay. At this moment, James is noticing that he's in a charnel house. Anyway,
We should probably try and get in touch with that social worker that we met earlier.
did you guys
Agreed.
get her name?
I don't.
That was a facetious question. You did not. Yeah, the main
What,
villains of this story are in India right now.
What ethnicity did you say they were?
She was Indian.
Cool. I'm gonna call up my spy network of 50 people and ask them to search for any Indian social worker in Santa Monica.
You get a text back in like 5 minutes. Anila is her name.
Okay.
Anila.
Anila.
See if maybe she knows something about the child.
You get a phone
and-
number as well as a small dossier. Apparently, she's a hardworking social worker who's very dedicated to her husband and has been acting weird lately.
I am definitely not going to be calling her 3 minutes after, like 5 minutes after meeting her, and explaining that to her, though, how I got her number.
Mercy is looking past Darius
Okay.
at the people that are now staring at her.
One of them walks over. He's a well-dressed white guy in a suit. He says, "Did you just talk to our friend the priest there?"
And you are?
Not important. Noah.
Like biblical Noah?
My dad's a priest.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's on TV. Maybe you know him. So, what did he say?
Why do you ask?
Because you just talked to a ghost.
Well, a lot of people can talk to ghosts around here.
Not like you can.
Come now. There's certainly some real ones here.
He stretches, and then he says, "Well, if you aren't going to tell me, I'd best be on my way."
Did you tell him he's a man of God?
What? He turns back around. Excuse me?
A man in a suit. He spoke like he knew me. He knew about my liquor.
The priest said that.
Mercy's gonna
Actually,
do
this
a
is the
read
angel
intentions roll.
Or devil,
Mercy
Gabriel.
casually character assassinates this guy.
Post-mortem.
Post-mortem.
Mercy uses vicious mockery. Calls him bald.
He uses deny blue booking.
It's super effective.
Mercy dies.
Yeah, he dies.
Okay. Sure. You want to? Okay. Do your.
I want to see if he reacted to what I relayed from the priest, which is there was a man that said that he was a man of God and to use the cross, and he spoke like he knew me and he knew about my liquor. I want to see if he's got a reaction to that.
Not an obvious one, although you can tell he's clearly trying to deceive you. All devils read as that, always, forever. He's also not who they're looking for.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah. Is that what he said?
I asked Darius.
Sorry, you said he was trying to deceive us. What has he told us so far?
He asked
He
what
was a
the
man.
priest had said, and then when Mercy mentioned it, or when Mercy accused him of being the man the priest met with, he said, "I'm sorry, excuse me, like, how dare you?" And then Mercy said what the priest said to Mercy, and he asked if that's what the priest had said to Mercy. And now it's now, and I'm describing what's currently happening.
Yeah.
God
And-
damn it,
And
Jordan.
it's not helpful, because I'm just
Um,
repeating myself, basically.
I'm just. How? So you knew the priest. How? Sorry. You said that your father was a man of God. Are you as well?
Devils, specifically. He says, "Nah, I lost my faith years ago. I mean, I've been trying to, serve the church again, but it's more about people,
Of course.
Devils, specifically. A devil is a specific type of demon, one of the
And what
Sabatu.
brought you here tonight?
He says, "The church burned down. I wanted to see if it was George again. There's a man who burned down my dad's church. It's not too far from here. I was trying to see if it was him. I don't think so, though. But you talked to the priest. That was him, right? I met him before when I was a kid."
I'll look at Mercy to confirm or deny that.
Mercy looks back at where the priest had been,
Okay.
and says,
You note there's a perfectly like perfectly normal, if well-worn wooden cross on the ground.
Mhm. And he knew about the boy, and he said the boy called him.
The boy. What boy?
There was a boy here that night.
Was there? What do you know about him? He's still very clearly trying to lie to you. Like, he's just paying your bullshit meter constantly. Because he was named Deceiver. My God.
Sorry, but I don't think we can really discuss this with you unless you can promise that you're telling us everything truthfully. That you're speaking truth to us. We need to know that you're.
He immediately like stands up a little straighter, which is impressive because his posture was perfect. And he says, "I have no reason to lie to you, at all. Why do you think I am?"
I'm just making sure that, like, you're telling us that you won't lie to us.
He nods. Mercy, your bullshit meter is still going off.
And I take a non-verbal agreement as agreement for the contract.
Sure, if he submits to it.
It doesn't require him being willing.
It explicitly does.
It explicitly
Eclipse
does
Oath?
not, as of 3E.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
fuck.
I
also do
know. This is
Oh
some
my God.
bullshit. I had this
Oh.
exact same thing.
Airhorn.wave.
Sorry,
Blah,
I
blah,
had
blah,
to,
blah.
I had to say goodnight to a small gremlin.
Aw, Bub.
Yep.
I like Bub. Okay. So, you do have to, like, shake hands or make some obvious agreement, though.
I'll extend my hand and say thank you so much for guaranteeing that then.
He looks at you kind of crossways and then shakes your hand, and as soon as the agreement comes down, he pulls his hand back like yours is on fire and narrows his eyes at you strongly. "What was that?" he says.
How did you sense that?
Oh no. You will know because you know your anima effect.
Everyone
intuitively.
knows. Yeah.
Everyone knows.
A regular fisherman from, like, fucking bumfuck Newfoundland would know immediately something happened.
Isn't that where Darth Populus is from?
No, he's not from bumfuck Newfoundland. He's from a town I don't even know about.
Yeah, it's
How-
not even named. It's near Bumfuck.
It's near bumfuck Newfoundland.
Dare you?
It's taintfuck Newfoundland.
I'm
Uh,
sorry. The correct town you're trying to refer to is Dildo, Newfoundland. Thank you very
I
much.
believe it's actually called Grundleville.
Love you, Darth.
Anyways,
You're a good guy.
He's laughing
in the
about it
interest,
too. Don't
in
worry.
the interest of finishing out the scene,
Yeah.
Wait,
Mercy's gonna walk back over to where the priest was
Okay.
and picks up the cross.
Okay. As far as you can tell, it was the cross the priest was holding.
Was it there before? Like
Nope.
for description purposes? Oh, it was dropped by the ghost. Oh.
Spooky.
Spooky.
I'm gonna look at him and say, I think we're feeling a bit hungry. Do you want to go and discuss this over dinner?
He says no. And then he, like, looks a little bit surprised for a moment and then narrows his eyes at you again.
Can I?
He doesn't actually hold him to the oath. He just knows something terrible will happen to him if
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
breaks it.
I'm gonna look at him and say, curious. Do you know anything about what happened here?
He says, less than you do.
Do you know about this child?
No.
Why are you?
And I'm done with this
investigating?
conversation. He turns and starts to walk away.
Okay. What was his name?
You didn't. His name was Noah.
Okay. I want that for my notes because I.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyway, back at the Charnel house. Is anyone going in the room with James?
Typically, no. The last exchange was Joe was like,
Get
"Don't
out of there!
leave."
It's already
no,
in
no,
the
no,
house.
no. don't get out of there. Stay near the bodies, because being near them may be
Right.
the only thing preventing you from being attacked right,
Right,
now.
being near bodies keeps you safe.
Being near Ben
Cle-
may be the only thing keeping me safe, and
They
vice
just
versa.
weren't near them when they got attacked.
Clearly, it didn't have any, or it didn't help these people.
But what you described to me, they're all at least a certain distance from each other. Yes.
Not really.
No,
You said they weren't piled up. Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
specifically,
no,
it,
They
this is,
avoided.
this- it's more like they died not standing near each other, not necessarily that they've been separated out a specific distance.
Okay.
yeah. James will be like, it looks like, there's a natural
I
compulsion.
mean, they're
to
being hunted
walk
already.
around
It's
these
following
bodies.
them.
Even if you don't know they're there. So they're all scattered out because they naturally avoided.
The cause and the effect
It's
are
literally
inverted
watching them
Yes.
right
compared
now.
to what I believed. That is. We are going to.
Okay.
Maybe we should come
Salt
and
will
join
not
you.
help.
and-
Actually,
Well,
This isn't
I'm
a hellhound
gonna
from
walk out of the
Supernatural.
house.
Okay.
I need to get away from the smell of blood.
Yeah, fresh blood specifically.
I'm going to go to the back.
Actually,
of the Jeep.
no. You
No.
don't smell fresh blood. You just
Oh.
saw it.
Okay. Well, either way, he.
It doesn't
Walked.
propagate through the air.
Oh, the air avoids it. It doesn't carry it.
It's like they're frozen in time.
Or like there's a space, a perfect infinitesimal space between them and everything else in the
That's not
world.
what it is at all.
I
Like
could.
they've been
Way
cut
off.
out from reality.
I could physically
They-
touch
that's
them,
close.
but there was again that compulsion to.
Oh, did you
avoid.
touch any of them where they were bleeding?
I poked one with the pen. I didn't say. So
Okay,
let's
your
say
pen
yes.
does have blood on it.
Oh.
Correct, Nick. Reality doesn't realize they're there. At all.
Joe. Joe, can you go back of the Jeep? I've got my armor and my bow, just in case, and
Is
my
that-
gear.
Blood I see on your pen?
Nope, you don't see
Yes.
it.
Oh no, I don't see it.
Wait,
But
did
he
you poke
sees it.
Samuel?
No, it was a different body, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so no, you don't see it. Although, being exposed to this, Ben and Joaquin, please give me a wits and integrity roll.
Okay, cool. Yes. How many integrity do I have now?
Question.
That's how many.
Why does my character sheet now say bend over?
No idea. Who knows? The pattern spiders work in mysterious ways.
I roll like shit and get 2 successes on
You
10
pass.
dice.
What was that again? It was wits,
What's an integrity?
And integrity, yeah.
Uh,
I don't know if you're still here, Lavada, but.
Fucker.
Do you pass? You can see the blood, Ben.
Yay.
oh, that blood on your pen, and he can't see it. Is that correct?
You can now.
Oh no, I mean, can James?
James can, yeah?
I may
Tay?
need to run some tests on it. Maybe. I
Uh,
don't know if.
Here, have
Yep.
a pen.
Did you show up outside the vehicle?
Yeah, I'll walk out. I'm going to get into my armor and arm myself.
Okay. We'll end it there for tonight.
Nice.
How are you guys feeling, everyone?
That was a hell of a scene, Jordan.
We're
Very
dealing
nice.
with I love that memory grim.
Mhm.
You're dealing with which? Sorry?
Grim from Harry Potter plus memories. It eats memories. The memory of people.
Is that what you're
and
dealing
their
with?
interaction with the... No. I'm just naming it that as a placeholder because we don't know what the fuck it is.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. This is great.
So it's the end of the night, which means we're gonna do votes. So of course the players can vote for who they thought was the best player of the night. We had some real bangers tonight, so I'm really excited to see how this vote goes. And of course, the Pattern Spiders get to pick their BFF, their best friend forever, that they're definitely not gonna F. So I'm gonna set up this poll, and then we'll get started. So I'll start with Mr. Sam. What is your vote?
My vote is going to be for Darius for some a mixture of kind of investigating the burned down thing, and more for so you're promising us you're not lying to us. Shake on it. It's for shake on it, honestly.
That was really mean. I hate that power. It's really powerful, and if I had it, I would absolutely be abusing the fuck out of it. So yeah.
Yes.
Just so my mods know, I've rejected every Fate Weave tonight.
Oh.
Pretty sure. Wait, was there one? No, there was one that I was going to accept, but I had to reject it because I didn't manage to work it into a scene.
Okay.
So they all get refunded.
Poor weavers.
So the cool thing with this one is they're just as confused as you are. Anyway, hey, my good friend Witch, who definitely saw Nick get spanked on the weekend.
Oh, he wasn't the only one getting spanked.
I don't know what you're talking about, and who is your vote for?
I'm gonna give it to James because of that lovely visceral reaction to finding his ex-employee dead and torn to shreds in front of him.
Yep, pretty good one. Please put your votes in the thingy. Mercy.
I am honestly
Sorry,
having a tough time trying to decide between Darius for the "you're gonna tell us about the truth" shake on it, and the excellent descriptions that James had to go through to find his employee literally dead.
Real quick, Pattern Spiders, no spoilers anymore. Because they sometimes jump in the chat at this point, so don't. Anyway, sorry for interrupting, Aki. I apologize.
I think since Ben's already voted for James, I'm going to vote for Darius.
Fair enough.
That was cool using his powers.
Okay. Speaking of James, hey Scald, my good friend.
I'm gonna vote for Mercy for literally calling up the spirits of the dead. That was cool.
That was cool.
And you need to do that more because,
Busted as fuck.
Well,
and I'd be abusing it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. When Joe finally calls you up and learns that you have that power,
oh yeah. No. Yeah. Good work, Mercy. I think you cracked that one open.
Thank you.
Okay. And of course, last but not least, my good friend Sue Crown.
I'll be voting for Mercy for Hi, Mr. Priest, come back to the land of the living.
All right. So the Mercy carries the player vote for the night. Congratulations, Mercy. You get a free Solar XP. The Pattern Spiders BFFF. Oh, it's weird that I left that third F in there. Is Darius for in no way being involved with blowing up a church, and some other reasons, actually. This was quite a contentious vote. You won 50% of the vote, Darius.
Oh,
which put you highest. So you gain a point of Delicious Pattern Spider XP, redeemable for normal XP at your local 7-Eleven.
Or redeemable for a cookie, per Jordan. You just have to go into any local Tim Hortons.
Yeah, go
And-
into any local coffee shop, and specifically, it has to be a corporate chain, though. I only have deals with those. And just tell them that I said you could have a cookie, and if they don't give it to you, just continue to escalate until they do. You
All right,
will
will do.
eventually get your cookie, don't worry.
I'll be at a Tim's tomorrow, so I'll make sure to do that.
All right. So for XP, everyone can have. This was a good session. You could have 3 and 4, so 3 regular, 4 solar. Because this was, I feel like this was the first session of Exalted, if you know what I mean. This felt very Exalted.
Nice.
More so than going to actual Autocathon.
We were still baby solar eggs, and now we're doing solar things.
Yeah, you definite. So anyway, wild mass guessing. My favorite part of the night, where my players tell me what is going on, and
And you confirm everything.
and I confirm or deny. If you guys are wrong, theoretically, I could deny it. Oh, and the pattern spiders have given Mercy an XP, and probably one other person, it looks like.
Oh, thank you.
Lavana, Ben earlier reacted, or Witch reacted to Ben's new last name earlier, but it's now changed. And one to Mr. Crown as well, a free pattern spider XP.
Who just got those?
Aki and Crown, so that would be
Me.
Mercy and Darius.
Congrats, you guys. Thank you, pattern spiders. You're awesome.
Okay, so wild mass guessing. I'm gonna go just to switch things up, left to right again. So hey Sam, what's going on in Joaquin's world?
Oh, all right. So per Joaquin, this curse was definitely put on the family for some reason, and he just needs to figure out why it was put on. He guesses Mrs. Baker,
Okay.
and that will lead to an explanation. Everything has an explanation. It has to.
It does. It absolutely has an explanation. I promise you that.
I believe you this time.
Good. So, Witch, what's going on in Ben's world?
Oh, sorry. Also, in the church, they encountered the Antichrist getting taken to go and do the bidding of the, whoever's bringing about the end of days. It's sometimes it's the forces of hell, sometimes it's angels. It depends on which fiction you're in. So don't know who, but somebody has now taken the Antichrist to start the end of days.
Fun. I can't wait to get
That's
to
who the boy
roleplay
is,
the
definitely.
Antichrist in the end of days. This is gonna be great.
It'll just be
Good
you.
Omens is absolutely not a okay.
It won't just be me. No, why do you say that, Witch? Is there something you want to get off your chest?
No.
I meant that in a do you want to wild mass guess, not a sexual way, Witch. I know that's hard for you to understand, but
What makes you think I was thinking that? Other than the fact that I probably was. I think Cthulhu took the form of a child and burned down a church.
cool.
And then somehow magically teleported to wherever the fuck James and them are now and killed his coworker.
Correct. Yes.
It's all Cthulhu.
I will say that out of everyone, Ben has been the most correct in these last several sessions.
He's just that good.
Yeah, he's real good. I'm
He's
blown
a
away.
very smart himbo.
He is a very smart himbo, yeah. Okay, Aki, what's going on here, bud?
So, wild mass guessing.
Uh-huh.
So, this guy in the suit, or the child was brought to the priest,
Uh-huh.
and as a parent of a toddler, the child asked the priest for a cookie, and the child, who was supernaturally powered, became an air raid siren and blew up the church.
Really? That's your wild
That's-
mass guessing?
Yeah, that's how toddlers work.
I
I mean, children.
kind of thought you'd guess something else. You're always the guy that's like, aliens, but it's always demons.
Alright, sorry. The child was a nuke.
That was mummified.
Correct. Mama Nuke.
Hence the air raid siren.
Very cool.
You're
Skull,
welcome.
explain to me what's happening here.
Well, we've got a big fate-eating dog that can put people in kind of a spiritual and temporal stasis. We've got what I can only assume are the literal forces of Satan working in Santa Monica, and we've got James in the middle who's just like, maybe I can shoot it with my bow,
Very cool.
and that's about it.
Maybe you can shoot it with your bow.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who shoot things, hey, Mr. Crown.
For the dog, I think it's some weird variation of a hellhound, only visible by the person that it's cursed to, and can still interact with other beings, but that doesn't really explain the ability to pause people from existing.
I mean,
And
they still exist.
true. Maybe if we kill it, everyone will remember them. With Santa Monica, Demon Child, or Elemental Child, who was being followed by some guy, who went there for safety, and he showed up, and the kid blew up.
Okay, so I love that everyone's theory is that the kid blew up. I love that that is a recurring theme, because it's 100% correct. The child did explode in a giant fireball, which caused the church to burn down. He specifically exploded in 3 giant fireballs. About 3 fireballs worth of child exploded in this church.
Just 3?
Yeah, specifically,
It was specifically just 3.
specifically just 3. 4 seconds. It took 4 seconds for someone to pick up on that.
I mean, at least somebody was out back digging the grave like they were fucking asked to.
I mean, I guess you should have just dug 3 more.
Oh god. Well, guys, you're all correct. Of course, I 100% confirm that Cthulhu Child exploded in a church. For 3 fireballs worth of child. This was great. This was a really fun session. Thanks, guys. I can't
Good
wait
game.
to hear what your theories are. We are unfortunately going to skip Blue Looking this week. There's still 2 scenes to resolve. I was kind of hoping we could focus on one, but I had to run them concurrently, so unfortunately we just need more time. So once again, I'd like to remind you that Scald made it so you don't get Blue Booking, and that continues into this week, so you're not allowed to insult me, Aki.
No, Scald's forgiven. You, on the other hand, you bald baby-headed bitch.
Okay.
There is no forgiveness for you.
Oh,
You
and
moldy pink avocado.
whoa! How dare you?
No,
I am
once again,
not
the
moldy.
avocados are in his ass.
Why
I
do you
am
think they're moldy?
not at all moldy. Much like a
No, they're
perfectly
the
preserved
avocados,
corpse,
you dumb bitch.
I continue to persist. Everyone's
Hey Jordan.
yeah. What's up?
The second you step off the elevator and hand me my coffee on Wednesday, javelins.
Javelins.
So, did the dog get your hair, or?
No, because there are pictures of my hair.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Definitely not
Allegedly.
doctored.
I can
just
I can
made
post a
it.
picture of my hair. It'll be funny. Actually, Ambi did post a picture of my hair.
Photoshop.
Hey Jordan,
Uh-huh.
if it turns out that these are demons, would you say that there's hell to pay?
Your fault.
So I'll be back tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
Have you ever watched somebody take psychic damage in real life?
Yeah, Chat just did. I will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I might do one last Elden Ring stream to kind of wrap up a few loose ends before we say goodbye to the game for the rest of time on this channel.
Just like your hair.
And then from then on, we're going to be doing Shrapnel games. We will be back with Exalted in 7 days' time. And of course, we'll have Thoughtless Thursday on Thursday. Yeah, I think that's it. Do you guys want to say goodbye?
7 days of death.
Do you guys want to say goodbye?
Much love, pattern spiders.
bitches.
Embrace the chaos.
All right, everyone. That's going to be it for us for tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you as always. And until next time.
Gay.
Devils.